All right, guys, don't forget to visit us online, therevolutiontv.com. There you're going to find full episodes, links to our Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Reach out to us. You're not alone. therevolutiontv.com.
A famous Bruce Lee quote, "Be like water, making your way through cracks." That quote had more influence on the skateboard culture than you may know. For pro skater Steve Caballero, Bruce Lee's work ethic inspired him not only as a world champion pushing limits, but that Zen mindset of adjusting backfired when it came to matters of the heart and eventually unraveled his relationships. The eventual unraveling of the most famous skateboarder in the world. So how did a Taoist turned atheist find God?
My dad didn't have a relationship with God at all. He never pushed any kind of religion or anything on us because he didn't have faith in it himself. So it wasn't something that was brought up at home. I questioned it a lot when I was a little kid to even know why I was even considered being a Catholic. I knew that I was baptized as a child, but really I didn't know what that meant. I got into Taoism and Zen. Yeah, for a while. Read books for like 6 to 7 years based on Bruce Lee and his theology. And Bruce Lee was a very big influence on my life because of movies, because of his passion for martial arts and where he took that. Bruce Lee basically started MMA, mixed martial arts, what it is today. And so he was very influential of being someone taking an ability and going further with it and exploring it. And he was a movie star. So when I got married in '95 to my first wife, she gave me a book that she found at Barnes & Noble. And it was a book on Bruce Lee and his philosophies of Zen, Eastern philosophies, and I read it and I got hooked because, everyone's kind of always searching for some kind of truth. They're kind of searching of where they're supposed to place themselves in this world and what am I attracted to, what am I connected to, how can I live my life, and I've always kind of always searching for some kind of wisdom, and I thought, when I read this book, I thought there was a lot of wisdom in there, a lot of truth, a lot of ways that I've lived my life that connected with me, and it was attractive because I felt like I've lived a Zen-filled life, which is, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the philosophy, but it's basically go with the flow. Don't crash. If you come to a pool, be the pool, skate the pool. If you come to a ledge, be the ledge, skate the ledge. So there's no, you can just keep moving forward and progressing and adapting to every situation that you're around. And if you're able to do that, you can live a pretty mellow life, and not a lot of stress. It's more of a way of life, When I think of spiritual, I think of something that's from the spirit and not of this world, So I really didn't have a spiritual relationship with anybody or anything at that time. I had a relationship with the words I was reading and the wisdom that I was reading from what Bruce had studied from Eastern philosophy. So that was my connection. Well, that's part of Taoism Zen is to be enlightened, and no. For 6 years, I'd read, this monk or this person. It was enlightened by this, and I was always waiting for that to happen, and it never came. My opinion and my view of being enlightened is your eyes and your heart open up to something that you've never experienced, and something new, something that's there. But because you're living in the darkness, this dark cloud, you can't see it in front of you, and you can't see it around you. So you're finally, the light bulb clicks on, and you go, wow, okay, now I get it. That to me, that's what being enlightened means, to know something that you don't know, to discover. It's a discovery. It's that light bulb that flicks on, and you know, I had come to a point where, you know, whatever floats your boat, whatever makes you happy, whatever gets you through life, go with it. You know, if you're an atheist, which I became, actually, because in the midst of reading all this Taoism and this Zen, that really took me further and further away from God. You know, I always questioned God when I was little. Is there really a God? You know, I'm a Catholic. We talk about God all the time. You know, I know about this guy Jesus who died on the cross, but I don't really get it, but I don't need it, you know. So when I started reading Eastern philosophy, which it's not a real spiritual thing at all, that turned me into an atheist, where I'd have arguments and discussions with my old teammate Lance Mountain, saying like, hey, you know what? You want to talk about religion? You want to talk about Jesus? Yeah, let's go for it, you know. I'll shoot you down because you ain't convince me. And I remember this one time I was sitting in his car, and this was like 6 months before I did actually end up getting saved, was I told him, I said, hey, you know what, Lance, I go, you know, we could argue all night long, but I'm never going to believe in Jesus or a God until he makes himself known to me personally. When he does that, then, you know, I'll listen to what you have to say. When you become famous, you have money and become somebody, it seems like the women become more attracted to you. You really don't have to try. You know what I'm saying? There's something about fame and fortune that I'm sorry if it sounds like chauvinist or not, but it's an attraction. And I don't think I'm that great looking guy, but fame and fortune really started to attract. And becoming one of the most famous skateboarders in the world in the early 80s, women came all the time. Wherever I'd go to a demo or a contest, there was always girls wanting to hook up. I started dating like I was back in the 80s again. You know, I started going to clubs all the time and hooking up with women again, and I just got really, really bored with that kind of lifestyle. It felt really empty, you know. I just wanted to have a relationship again. So then I met this one girl, and she had claimed that she was a Christian, and she was hot. Here was this, you know, woman that was claiming, you know, being a Christian and being a good person, and you know, I put a lot of trust, and I wanted to start a relationship, and that trust was broken. So it really broke my heart really deeply, and I was upset for like 3 days straight. I was just super down, calling all my friends, and just telling them, hey, you know, broke up with my girlfriend, and I just feel really empty. So I remember it was very vivid. Was I was sitting on my computer, and this name just rings in my ear, and this voice just says, hey, call your sister-in-law Kathy, my brother, my Christian brother, his wife. So the voice didn't say call your brother, who's a Christian, call Kathy. Yeah. So she will give you the answers that you need to figure out where you're at, why you're in this lull in your life, and just this emptiness of like, I just wanted to be loved. Well, I knew afterwards that voice was God speaking to me and saying, hey, you're reaching out, and here's someone I'm going to give you the answers that you need. And that's when I discovered the Enlightenment. And, you know, that's when I said, okay, now I know what it is to be enlightened. Because of the words that she spoke to me after I told her what happened. And I just wanted to know why I was hurting. Like, how did I get myself in this place? Like, I'm like, been married already, got a divorce. My dad had passed away, actually, 6 years prior to that. I just was a mess, you know, and when your heart's broken, nothing really matters. Your fame, your fortune, your possessions, I mean, who cares, right? Your heart is the most important thing. I said, hey, Kathy, you know, this is the situation. My girlfriend, you know, broke my heart. But in my heart, I'm thinking about forgiving her. And she goes, well, why do you feel that way? I go, well, for one, I've had tons of girlfriends, and I've cheated on lots of them. And if I was to be angry at her for what she had done to me, then I'd be a hypocrite. Are you going to be angry of what someone else had done to you? I mean, you have to forgive that, you know? So, you know, I said, this is what I want to do. And I go, is this something that Jesus, is Jesus, you know, would he do that? And she goes, yeah, Jesus is all about forgiveness. And I go, okay, well, I've tried everything in life to be a happy, honest, you know, person, but I haven't tried Jesus yet, and I haven't searched him out, and so I'll go to church, you know, and I'll find out who this Jesus is, and I'll learn more about him, and once because I knew that my heart wasn't right, because she had told me, she goes, you know, your heart's not right, you know, you're making bad decisions based on where your heart is, and you filled your heart with all these things but God. If you want to become a whole person, that you need God. You know what I mean? So it wasn't something where I went to church and I saw a pastor do a sermon and said, hey, you know, I know your life's messed up, but here's your chance to give your life to the Lord. All you gotta do is say this prayer. No, it wasn't that kind of situation. It wasn't a church situation. It was a real situation at home, you know, God speaking to me and me making that decision on my own, not based on someone else telling me, this is what you need to do to get your life together. It was God using, you know, my sister-in-law, Kathy, saying, hey, you want to be a whole person? You know, she didn't say, hey, pray this prayer with me. She just said, hey, you need Jesus. I go, okay, I want Jesus in my life. And I started going to church. But the rad thing was, I called, you know, my girlfriend at that time, and I said, hey, come over, I want to tell you something. She came over, and I said, for one, I forgive you for what you did, and two, I want to become a Christian. And she was like, are you kidding me? I've been trying to witness to you for like 4 months, and then I break your heart, and now you want to become a Christian? So that was totally God. So she, you know, renewed her dedication and vows to the Lord, and I became a Christian. We're married now. We've been married for over 10 years, and we have 2 beautiful kids. What I do for a living now, I do it for a bigger purpose. I don't do it just for myself. I do it for God, and I do it to spread the gospel of Jesus Christ.
You know, guys, I love Steve's story. And meeting him was not only an honor, but it really just taught me so much about God's love. I mean, here's a guy that had the whole world, and he literally was not happy. And he took a tip from his girlfriend to say, you know what, maybe I need to try Jesus. And he did. He was never enlightened, even though he studied everything that New Age and Eastern philosophy had to offer. But yet the one true way, which is Jesus, that was the only thing he found fulfillment. And today, he's living proof that if you turn your heart to Jesus, everything lines up. You know, it's amazing. I played baseball, and the times that I tried the hardest and swung so hard, those are the times that normally I either struck out or hit the ball foul. But the times that everything just lined up and I hit it, it would go out, home run, and you would turn around and you'd be like, wow, did that ball just leave the yard? Yes. It's because everything lined up and it became effortless. It's the same way with our relationship with God. When everything lines up, when we put our heart and our trust in Jesus, the one true way, everything works out. And so today I challenge you to find a real relationship with Jesus. Not religion, not going to church every week. Those things are great, those things are needed, but having that real relationship that's genuine, just like Steve has, and everything will line up and you'll hit it out of the park.
Such an honor, Steve. Thank you for sharing your journey with us. And thank you so much for watching The Revolution. If God is for us, who can be against us?
Bye.